I just saw it says the stream is already live. The broadcast is already live. I don't know what's going on. A Melon again doing what Melon does, and I was expecting a countdown. Oh, we didn't get that. It's 304 days until Christmas 2022, and today we're going to talk with our friend the Magic Maker again about a fan film. The fan film we're reviewing today kind of fits with the mood of the day overall. Just a couple of things up front before we kind of get into the Star Wars news and all of that is we now have a merch store available. It's open. There's stuff you can buy. It's out. It's the description is in the link is in the description here. You can find the merch store, and if you are so inclined to purchase something like that, it really helps support the channel. And so I've got the content creator package coming my way. I'll have examples of all of it or a lot of it very soon. And, they don't give that stuff away either. It cost me about $200 just to get the content creator bundle. So there you go. But that'll be coming out. You guys can go out to the merch store now. You can see what we have available. Also, we're currently actively working on a new intro for the show. We've got a new outro we're going to play today, and we are going to be working on tightening all of that stuff up very soon. Working with Russell to get that all made for us. So that'll be coming in. And look, our good friend Jason Ward is here. Video liked. Thank you for that, Jason. MakingStarWars.net. You guys, if you could do us a huge favor, do all the YouTube things and like, share, comment, leave your chat. And I saw Meg stopped in to say, hey, she can't stay. She's got a call to get on, but hope that we have a good day. And for those of you who have been channel members here for some time, we really, really appreciate that as well. And we have opened up a Patreon supporter page, and you can join over there for just $1 to get you access to Patreon only content. And yesterday we did our very first Patreon only live stream. Did it with Burke the Nerd. We talked about the Batman movie. And so over there on Patreon, we'll be able to discuss whatever we want. We don't have to pay attention to YouTube. We don't have to play by YouTube's rules. We don't have to worry about YouTube monetizing, demonetizing, all of that kind of nonsense. We can just talk about whatever we want to. So yesterday, Burke came on, and if you guys don't know, when we're watching Star Wars shows, we have the predictions game that we do, and my friend, a Magic Maker, and I compete there. And if you beat Santa, you make it onto the Wall of Fame. And if you lose to a Magic Maker, you sadly go on the Wall of Shame. But a Magic Maker is remarkably consistent. He's always right there in the middle of the road. Every week, he's never really high, never really low, but that's what keeps his score relatively low over the course of a season, and that's why we have a lot of fun at my friend's expense.
And that's why if you get below it, it's the Wall of Shame.
That's exactly it. So, but I stole that whole concept for doing predictions from Burke the Nerd. And Burke had been doing that for some time, and we formed the Nerd Holla Network. Burke and Stormy, myself, and a couple others, and we just got that all going. And that it seemed really, really appropriate to reach out to Burke and do that. So I've now made that available to our YouTube. So the way that's going to work on the Patreon only stuff is we'll do Patreon supporters only for the live stream. So if you want to participate, you want to comment, you join us on the Patreon only live stream, and then the day after, I will post it to our Discord for our members only. And you know what? I'll post it here in YouTube for members only as well, if you're not into Discord. And then tomorrow, 2 days afterwards, we will release it publicly for anybody to find. It's still going to be unlisted, so it won't show up because YouTube algorithms are a pain in the keister. So we don't want to mess with YouTube's algorithms. We want it to present this content when there's Star Wars things to talk about. The Patreon, what's Jason call it? The Patreon. Oh shoot, he has a word. I just can't think of it. The Patreon internets or something like that. So yes,
join the Patreonage.
Jason also has Patreon, and he releases his live streams as podcasts to his Patreon supporters as well. So support Jason. He is doing a lot of good work and giving us a lot of great information about Kenobi. And he says he's trying to write a new article about Kenobi, but the world has me bummed out today. And one thing we wanted to talk about is Magic Maker and I are both military veterans, and much like Jason's friend Rob, Sketchcraft Rob, also the Patreon machine. That's it. He calls it the machine. The Patreon machines. You can find Jason over there making Star Wars on the Patreon machine. So that's it. But we're veterans, and as veterans, we have been impacted by war. I was active duty during the Gulf War, the first Gulf War. It went pretty short duration. My friend, a Magic Maker, also active duty during combat, and we've still got. Hey, look, Adam's here. Good to see you, my friend. Oh, good to see Adam Fanjecture. Great, another supporter that's been here from the very, very beginning. And one of the guys that I see as a mentor, role model for me. Absolutely love Adam and what he does on his channel. Hope to have him join for a Patreon only discussion soon. So as soon as we can make that happen, I want to do that. But I wanted to bring up what's going on over in Ukraine. We're not a political discussion. We don't talk about geopolitical things. I listened to why am I going blank? The Den of Nerds. I listened to Josh Lucas at the Den of Nerds this morning, and I know he was avoiding the talk of Ukraine at all costs, because that's what we're here for, right? We're here for Star Wars stuff. We're not here to talk about war and violence and those kind of things. But it seemed to me, because a Magic Maker and I are both veterans, we both served during active duty combat, and I've got family members who are active duty right now, and I know that it's affecting families, and it's just sort of a huge bummer to see an invasion of a country by another country, and to know that with Star Wars, especially, look, Star Wars is sort of a big geopolitical conversation, and with the Empire. Yeah, and George Lucas based it off of, the Empire, based off of empirical kind of forces in human history. It has very heavy Nazi overtones, but he also commented on it being similar to U.S. Forces in Vietnam and other places. So I did want to. It seems appropriate and right to me that we discuss it in the context of a Star Wars show, because that's sort of what Star Wars is about. At its base.
I mean, I would just say in general, Star Wars is anti-imperialistic, right?
Right. And it is about the hero's journey. It is about all this other stuff as well. And so we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about what's going on over there. We just want to acknowledge it. It seems wrong to me to not acknowledge it, and to see that we have something going on geopolitically that aligns to what we see in Star Wars.
Right.
And it's not good. And we can say that. We don't have to pick sides. We don't have to. We don't have to.
Even though we have something called Star Wars, I think we can all recognize wars are bad.
Yes, they're certainly bad, and it's something that
I don't know anybody who's been in the middle of it who hasn't come out with scars.
True. Very true. And it's unfortunately a big part of our country's history. It's a big part of global history. And there are people who support us who live in the region. We have people in the chat, people who support our channel. People are here on a daily basis who live in the region. And and many of you know I am a religious person, and prayer and scripture is important to my life. It's something that it is important to my family, and something that I'm heavily involved in. And I just want the folks in the region to know that, hey, our prayers are with you. We acknowledge this is a bad thing. This is a very, very bad thing. And I've got my own personal opinions about the foreign policy of the United States and what the current administration is doing. I've got my opinions about European connections or European nation states and all of that. I'm just going to say, hey, our prayers are with you guys, and what's going on over there is really bad. And, you know, Star Wars teaches us lessons about empirical forces and, you know, the underdog, and it's kind of tough, you know?
Yeah. From my perspective, a few things. And I served with some Ukrainians over in Iraq before. Great guys. I actually had a Ukrainian soldier. He became came to the U.S. and became a soldier in the U.S. Army. Great guy. And so I've been in contact with them and from a couple of the guys, and it's not to get some of their perspective. And I don't want to go deep in it, but I just knowing people over there is kind of bring some of it home. And I'm trying to keep my mind neutral on the whole thing, but in the recognition of what it is and how things happen, having seen suffering all over the world in wars that I haven't necessarily been a part of, but, you know, aided in one way or another, as in ways of resolving pain for people by either bringing in building stuff or bringing in, food and supplies at times to different places.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I know that wherever you go, you have this kind of suffering. And the thing is, it's as much as it does damage the soldiers, and the soldiers do, it's the people that are on the ground that really suffer. And and so there is never a war in my mind, even if it's a just war, that's a good war.
Yeah.
And I think if Star Wars makes anything clear, that's they've done that pretty well at doing it, showing that the suffering that occurs from it.
It is, and that the big guys think that they can just run over the little guys, and there's different thoughts about how to lead. We even see that with Anakin. He's like, if you can't agree, you should be made to agree, you know, and thinking about your benevolent dictator kind of idea, or if you just end up with a despot leader, or any kind of leader who is power hungry, right? So you get power mongers out there, and the fear is that the action there will not be limited to what we've seen in the last 24 hours or even the last, say, week or so, but that it will expand. And the similarities, and we mentioned this before, and again, we're not going to go too deep into this, my friends. We're going to try to keep it around a Star Wars kind of thought, but the similarities between Germany invading Austria, seeing Austria as a part of their heritage, part of their history, and the importance of Austria to Germany's history, it's very similar. It's directly similar to what we see in Russia and Ukraine. I studied Ukraine and Russian history with my undergrad degree. I have a degree in social studies education. So I studied history, economics, political science, and I did a focus on Russia, the Soviet Union, former Soviet Union states. And during all of that, Look, Ukraine, Kiev was the first capital of Russia. During the Soviet era, Russians moved to Ukraine in mass. There were tons and tons of Russians who moved to the Ukraine, and it's their access to the Black Sea, their ports, and it's a big part of their economy. Understand that this is not just a simple one country invading another. It's very much like Germany invading Austria, and what we have here is a mess. It's a mess, and it saddens me. It scares me. It worries me about the future of humanity, and certainly what's going over there is terrible. It's terrible. So our prayers are with you guys, and what we see in Star Wars. Again, we kind of mentioned where one power takes over another is exactly what Star Wars was written to kind of reflect. And with the Empire being modeled after, say, Nazis, or because you can see that, right? I'm not making that up. Everybody can see Nazis in the Empire, right? And everybody can I think a lot of people are aware that in the original trilogy, George Lucas had a narrative about the Nixon administration and the U.S.'s involvement in Vietnam. And he very much had a political message that he wanted to deliver over one country imposing its will over another and the people of Vietnam. So it's kind of built into the DNA of Star Wars. Yes, it is the hero's journey. We have heroes, we have great lessons, but it's also that. So that's what I wanted to discuss. And my friend X-Wing is here. He just got his Razor Crest yesterday. Very exciting. No, we just shipped that out of here last week, Friday, and it arrived at X-Wing's house yesterday. Super excited for him to get to open that and assemble it and review it. I'm looking forward to seeing that X-Wing, and we've got tons of friends here. So before we jump into full story, anything else, a Magic Maker? Anything else in your mind?
Yes, I just hit 484 subscribers today. So every time I come on here, I gain subscribers, and I haven't put out a video at all in like a year. And so I just want to say thank you. And if y'all can get me to 500, I promise I'll put out a video. I actually have one ready. I just haven't put it out. Give me to 500.
Yeah, have I read Midnight Horizon? I'm slogging through it, Reefer Man. I read maybe a chapter at a time, and they're short chapters. They're only about 5-6 pages long, and so yes, I'm into the middle of Midnight Horizon, and I need to get through that book. I need to just sit down and read through it because I understand there's some great parts of the book that are worth getting to. So yes, and channel growth here is kind of picked up. You know what? Meg just hit 100,000. You're coming up on 500. I'm coming up on 2,100, and everything's great from a Star Wars content creator perspective. It's a great time to be a Star Wars fan. And speaking of that, there are some. Oh, you know what? I forgot to hit play on the Hoth ambience from Meg's Cantina. So you'll hear that in the background. But there is some news.
It's actually all my fault, guys, because I was talking to him about Ukraine before we came on. He was like, "Oh my gosh, it's time."
Yeah, I know. So we just learned that Jason just hit 6,500. Maybe one day we could join the likes of folks like MakingStarWars.net and have 6,500 subscribers as well. Oh, that'd be great. But Lego Star Wars, it just turned gold, and that status, which means that it's done. It's done. They put a bow on it, and that's ready to go. So at this point, and that's you'll see here, it's going gold. according to the official Twitter account, means work on the title is completed. The build of the game is ready to ship ahead of its April 5th release date. So we see it releases April 5th. It's being released. It's on time. It's on schedule. We don't have to worry about any more delays. Lego Star Wars is on its way. So for the folks that enjoy those, and I do, I love the Lego games. I love the Lego content. And so I'm looking forward to that. Are you a Lego game guy? A Magic Maker, he's muted. You're muted. If you're talking, we can't hear you. There you go.
Sorry, I had a bunch of background noise going on. I had to ask some people to calm down.
Yeah, are you a Lego game guy?
The kids are. I don't play it as much as they do.
Yeah, I would love to. It's just that I get addicted to them and I can't. So,
yeah, it's kind of the problem we have with the entire thing. I only let them do it on Saturday, and then it absorbs a Saturday, which I don't always like.
Yeah, and Chief's channel has been growing. I failed to mention his channel's been growing, and he's been doing some game walkthroughs and things like that. So again, congratulations, Chief. I love Lego Star Wars. I would love to play it more. It would be great. The other thing that's kind of big in the news is this story. It's from Backstage Gossip, Hugh Montgomery. There's an interview that he's quoting here where Ian McDiarmid mentioned that there's possibilities for his character, for Palpatine, to show up in Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Kenobi series. And that we don't have confirmation of that. It's all speculation at this point. But I think it's a safe bet to say we've got Inquisitors. We've got Vader. It's pretty safe to assume you would have the presence of Palpatine, considering Palpatine formed the Inquisitorius, right?
No.
And put Vader as head of it. It makes perfect sense that you would have Palpatine show up in Kenobi series.
That's silly. Why would you have the Emperor inside, being shown during the time of the Emperor?
Well, let me ask, because I heard Josh kind of talk about it this morning. Is it still just Disney or Lucasfilm playing on fan service to bring in Palpatine?
If it serves the story, not so much. If it's just there because it's there, then yes.
I think it would be harder to explain not having Palpatine in Kenobi. Once you decided that that's the scope of the show.
Kenobi is in the middle of the Imperial period. I mean, it's so not to have the icons of the Empire would be, but it seems
it'd be odd,
a bit ridiculous and odd. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're involved at all with canon and you're familiar with the Inquisitorius and how it was formed and the purpose it served and Palpatine's role in all of it, I think you have to presume that he would be in it. It's kind of cool to hear Ian McDiarmid bring it up, and I'm looking forward to seeing some sort of confirmation. But to me, having Palpatine show up in some format, whether he's a holograph image or we actually see Vader speaking with him, either way, right? I
want to see the live action version of the Grand Inquisitor, to be honest with you. That's the version I want to see.
Well, I think you're going to get that.
Yeah.
I think you're going to get that.
Because we've already seen Vader. Don't get me wrong, I love Vader. And I've already seen the Emperor, and I love the Emperor. But I haven't seen the live version of these Inquisitors, and I definitely haven't seen the live version of the Grand Inquisitor, which I'm excited to see.
Well, we talked about, and Jason's been talking about this a lot on makingstarwars.net. The third sister is definitely in there, right? We're getting the third sister, and her name is Reva, and they took the name as inspired from Revan, and So this isn't a gender swap. This isn't replacing Revan with Reva, but it's saying that the show leads, forerunners, said that they wanted to name the character after that. So you get Reva.
I like Reva better. It sounds better to me.
Well, if it's best off of Revan, is it Revan?
Yeah, Revan. It's not, but I'm just saying. Just Reva sounds better.
No, I know. I have the same thing about Arkansas and Kansas.
Right. But we have Arkansas.
Right? So,
no.
Is it? Yeah. Why Kansas? I mean, you get Kansas, you put an AR in front of it, and all of a sudden it's Arkansas. You even lose the S at the end. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. So Reva, just name her Reba.
All sassafras to me.
Sassafras. And hey, we've got normies to nerds here. And I saw we also had a couple of other guys. Obi-Wan Dahomey. I thought it was Obi-Wan, but it's Obi-Wan Dahomey is here, and great name. Of course, Wayne's been here. The Chimera. I've gotten into some chit chats with the Chimera. Pretty good dude. And Andre, good to see you. Oh, thanks for stopping by. Good to see you here. Making Star Wars. So here's Jason say the Grand Inquisitor, fifth brother, third sister, all have big screen time. So you're going to get that, right? You're going to get the Grand Inquisitor. We kind of knew that before, and we knew that Reva is going to be like a big bad. So plenty of the third sister. The fifth brother was rumored and confirmed some time ago, as well as the Grand Inquisitor. There's been lots of stories about that. So you're going to get these characters. And from what Jason was talking about with Reva, they don't go around calling themselves the third sister. They call her Reva. She is the third sister, but they use her name. And what we don't know, at least at this point, is whether she took that name. You know, like when Catholics get married, they've got their Catholic name, and then they've got their birth name. They don't know if when she became an inquisitor, she took the name Reva, or if she was already named that. So that's interesting.
Kind of a Sith tradition to change your name.
Right, exactly. So that happened with all of the Sith. Now, Inquisitors
be known as Darth Vader.
Right, exactly, and same with Dooku and Maul, all of that. So those are names they took, but in this case, we don't know that the Inquisitors are necessarily Sith, right? They are former Jedi who are now hunting down Jedi, but I don't know if they're actually considered Sith. At least not in the same sort of way like Vader and Dooku.
I think it would be considered a portion of the Sith, like Sith acolytes or whatever. But they're not a Sith Lord. Right.
X-Wing. My X-Wing says my Christian name is Y-Wing. There. I thought it was Butterfly. X-Wing. I could have swore that your Christian name was Butterfly. And then Andre, thank you so much.
Mariposa.
No, thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate that support. That's fantastic. So Inquisitors are like Ventress,
Mariposa from now on.
Yeah, that's what I thought. They're not Sith. They're dark side users. And as you said, you may consider them like acolytes at most, but yeah, they're definitely not like Vader and Dooku. They're not Sith, so to speak. So the next question that naturally kind of spins out of this. So this story is primarily related to and focused on the Kenobi series, but we have another series too that's within the time frame that's also been shot, that's also airing this year. That would be Andor. Andor. It would absolutely make sense that he would be. See, there you go. It would make absolute sense that Palpatine would be in Andor as well, or could make an appearance, right?
Yes, I would think so. I mean, both of those are set during the the Imperial period, so we should both see. And we already saw, Vader in Rogue One, which is kind of this is the precursor to. So, I mean, I would think we would see these characters in that.
Yeah, I think so. And this question, Neil Taylor, are all of the Inquisitors ex-Temple Guards? No. In fact, they're not. I think the Grand Inquisitor was, but some of them were just Jedi.
Right, we know Trilla was a Padawan.
Right. That's some were Jedi, some were. That's what I was going to say. That we knew some were Padawan. So no, not all are ex-Temple Guards. Some, especially the Grand Inquisitor, was right. But beyond
he was the head of the Temple Guards.
Right. That's what I think. What's this? I see something going on about. Could we see Omega in Andor? We could, Wayne. We absolutely could, but it kind of depends. And I saw Sheev said this. Depends what happens in Bad Batch season 2. There's a lot of speculation about what could happen with Omega, and it depends what they want to do with her story arc. It's the same thing now that we know that Ming Na Wen, right? We know that Master Assassin Fennec Shand is in the post-Empire period, right? In the Mando timeline. We know that she's in the Bad Batch timeline. She could make an appearance in Andor. She could make an appearance in Kenobi. She could appear in any of these series as well, because the timeline, she's alive. She's out there doing something. What? We don't know. We don't know Fennec's story between Bad Batch and Mandalorian. We don't know Omega's story after Bad Batch. So it's really tough to say.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm sad that we didn't see a white-clad, armored, person appear at the very end of Book of Boba Fett. In all honesty, that would have been. I'd have been like, yes, they connected it. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, and
I didn't like it. I won't say that I was very inspired by the after credit scene of the Book of Boba Fett, but that would have if they brought Omega in a white clad Mandalorian outfit, I'd have been like, oh yeah.
Even if they didn't call her by name, you just saw.
No, all we need to see would be like the arm and like the leg with maybe a white cape of come in. Even if they wanted to show Cobb Vanth that walking into that
cool
thing.
Would it be if she kind of stepped in like Boba Fett did at the dinner scene with Vader, right? Where you see Vader standing there, right, and he meets Han and Leia and all that, and then Boba Fett steps out just holding the weapon.
Yeah,
that's all. That's really all he does.
That's all you need.
How cool would it have been in the post-credit scene to the Book of Boba Fett to see perhaps Crimson Dawn or Kira show up. She's got to clean up the mess that was left behind, and so Kira comes out and she's gonna have a meeting. And then this white clad female figure steps out holding a weapon, same way as Boba Fett. How cool would that have been?
That would have been really cool. I don't know how that would have fit together with Omega's personality. That would have been a huge change.
Yeah, I don't either.
So I personally think that Fennec Shin's actually still in cahoots with Omega, and that's the reason why she's hanging around Boba. Personally,
that's sort of my thought as well. But I want to address this super chat. Thank you so much for that, Abibi. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Can't wait to see more Fennec and Omega in the future. Just pre-ordered my first figure. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Yes, your very first figure. That's exciting. Bibi, congratulations on that. I can't wait for to see what happens with Omega's character. I tend to agree with you. I think that there's a connection between Fennec and Omega, that Omega is going to end up tootling, right, as one of Fennec's she's going to be tutored by Fennec. So I think there is a connection, and it's going to come to bear. We just don't know yet.
Tutoring better. I think that's the best way to say tutelage.
I'm glad that Meg wasn't here for that. So I see I see Mark bringing up some really good points that the Inquisitors probably don't think they're evil, and he brought up a case here. Here we go. It said Jason said on Making Star Wars stream that some of the Inquisitors may believe they're on the right side of history against the corrupt Jedi who staged a coup versus Palpatine and Republic. You know, that is the story that the Jedi, right? And you see that famous speech with Anakin and Obi-Wan, right? And so there would be the Inquisitors would buy that same sort of logic and think they're on the right side of history, and that the rebels are actually the problem.
But I mean, it's a Machiavellian way of thought, right? So I mean, the idea is that you got to have some people that are willing to do a little evil to have the ultimate good, right? I mean, that's the idea, right? That's why people don't like Machiavelli, because what he talks about is you want to be perceived as good, even if you're not doing good, and you want to, so that you can remain in power, but you want to achieve really the best outcome for the most amount of people, even if some people have to suffer.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's his thought. So people don't like that thought. It's very
right.
I mean, I'm not saying it's a good way to think. I'm just saying that's Machiavellian in nature, and that's kind of how the Sith are. The Sith want order. They think that order is the way to achieve it, even if some people have to suffer to achieve that order.
Well, yeah, it's the belief in a benevolent dictator, right? Somebody who knows the best for the people and will enforce those things, even if it's against their will, because it's the best for the people.
Because ultimately, this is what I'm doing for you. Even if it hurts, it's the best for you.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people who believe in and who desire to have a benevolent dictator as head of their nation, and it's happened plenty of times in history. It's something that repeats, but people with strong convictions believe they're doing the right thing, often when it's not. And Abibi, Omega will totally be in Boba in a future season. I think we are going to see, I 100% agree that we're going to see Omega in a future season of something in that era, the Mandoverse.
No, I think you're right.
And I want to kind of bring this up as well. And I've seen it discussed, and I brought it up in a chat even today. I am looking back on Mando 1, Mando 2.
It's a point of view, Anakin.
To me, I think it would have been good to have all these series under one umbrella title, much like it had the Clone Wars animated series.
Right. And so a series of anthologies under Clone Wars?
Yeah, it would jump from storyline to storyline, but it's all within that same group, right? So
we have like the interregnum between wars.
I don't know what you call it, but yeah, you could.
There's a game series that was built on another platform for doing combat that they call the interregnum. They have all these different.
It's sort of immaterial, but what I mean is just that you could jump from Din Djarin to Boba Fett to Fennec Shand, like different storylines, entirely different storylines, but they all happen concurrently or overlap with one another. They weave in and out of one another in that series. So I do think we will get Omega in that, right? Whether it's Mandalorian season 3, Boba Fett season 2, Rangers of the New Republic season 1, or whatever that thing's going to be called, Ahsoka, or whatever in one of those contexts. I
AKA
totally
RoboCop.
Yeah. Right. Or Mod Vanth. Yeah. So I think we're absolutely going to see that. Let's see. There was a couple other. Exactly. You guys are on it in the chat. Right. Now, and right, it wouldn't have the same hype. So the problem you have in selling that is the Book of Boba Fett had a lot of people excited to see Boba Fett's story. Well, if it were called the Interregnum or whatever you want to call it, I mean, that's not a catchy title to get people to say, "Oh, this is about Boba Fett." Right? It doesn't mean anything. So you would need something that would hook people, and honestly, the Mandalorian or the quest for Mandalore or something like that could fit, because
I think
Boba
you
Fett
go with the
has
Mandalorian. You have the story of Din Djarin. You have the story of you know, Boba Fett. You're gonna have the story of darn it, help me out here. I can't think of her name.
Mandalorian, Boba
Bo-Katan.
Fett,
Golly, I couldn't think of Bo-Katan.
Yeah,
Bo-Katan, you know, and so you know, we have that. We're eventually probably in the Rangers of the New Republic. We'll probably have oh, now I can't think of her name.
Cobb
Huh?
Vanth. It's gonna be Cobb Vanth.
No. What's the
I know it.
Mandalorian in
No, she's gonna be in Ahsoka, Sabine Wren.
Right. Okay. Well, Ahsoka inside, Sabine Wren inside that, and maybe Rangers of the New Republic. There's another one. Who knows? You know, Cobb Vanth maybe get some more armor. I don't know. And they're basically gonna start asking this question: what is a Mandalorian?
Yes.
And that falls under the Mandalorian banner. What is a Mandalorian?
True. Yeah, of course they cross over. Star Wars crossover. Yes, it is. We could get Cad Bane limited series. That's possible. And the question, I want to go back to this question. Is it true Kenobi and Andor will cross over? I think
if you mean about the same time, then yes.
I think this is Star Wars 95's answer. It's all Star Wars. So from the perspective that it's in the same canon and it's in the overall timeline, there will be characters that cross over, because we already know, say, for example, Darth Vader is in the end of Rogue One. So Darth Vader will certainly be involved. It's also been rumored we were going to have Inquisitors in Andor. That's possible as well. It's really, really tough to know exactly what the scope of that is. I'm sure that we have friends here who do know. In fact, Meg has told me she knows a lot about Andor series, and she's very, very excited about it. But and our friend Jason Ward probably knows a good bit of that as well. But I do think there will be some character appearances that are some continuity pieces. So it will fit continuity wise, but I don't know about crossover where, let's say in Book of Boba Fett season 1, where you had some Mandalorian season 2.5 in there, you know? So I don't know it'll be that much. An early memory. Hello! Early memory. There's a rumor last year Ahsoka and Kenobi will appear in Andor. It very well could be. Saw
Ahsoka I can see. I'm not sure. Sure.
Yeah, Saw Gerrera absolutely will be in Andor.
Yeah, there's definitely some perceived history between the rebellion and Saw Gerrera, so that I wouldn't be surprised.
And just to be clear on this, Jap Vibes, I don't know. How do you pronounce that? But anyway, I feel wrong just saying Jap, because it's slang for Japanese, and that's not right. But anyway, what is Saul and Andor? I cannot confirm. I cannot, this isn't a scoop. This isn't confirmation of a rumor. However, Saul Gerrera being in Andor is, I think, almost a given. Much like having Palpatine in Kenobi is pretty much a given. We've not seen any confirmation. Yes, Palpatine is in Kenobi. He's going to be in episode number 4. Or anything like that, right? We don't know anything like that. All we have is this speculation came out of this article that's highlighted here. So much the same way, Saul Gerrera being in Andor just makes sense.
It does. And you should like and subscribe right now if you haven't already. Right now. Right now. Don't stop. Like and subscribe right now.
Hey, thank you for that, a Magic Maker. Do you think Thrawn could appear in Andor? He could, and likely. There are two different things. I don't think it's likely. I don't think it is likely.
Thanks, Jason,
You
for
may
that
hear a
reminder.
name drop. Yeah. That's good. That's good. So we do want to get to our fan film. Anything else before we jump into the fan film?
No, I think this
It's
is
a short.
This is a good one, considering how we began. I think if we go out on this one, it'll bring it full circle.
Exactly. I think so as well. It's and just so all of you know, a
The
magic
circle
maker
is now complete.
Yeah, a magic maker, Mark and I, we have this on our radar well, it's been days, right? When did we first identify this? Mark kind of posted it in.
No, he did. He said, "Hey, how about this one?" I said, "Haven't I already done this one?" They're like, "No," and I was like, "Whoa! I thought I did this like 3, 4, 5 weeks ago."
Right. So Mark posted it on the 18th and said, "Hey, have we done this one yet?" And we said no. So on the 18th, this came up. So, but today, considering what's going on in the Ukraine, what's going on with Russia and in Europe, this sort of fits in. So, as usual, we'll ask you guys the link to this video, this fan film, is in the description here. It's put out by Cinematic Captures. They've got 250,000 subscribers.
Yeah,
So
they have a bunch of these. So this isn't the only one. You'll see a bunch if you go on there. I know I put on stuff here from Cinematic Captures before, and that's why I thought I'd put this one on.
Let me put a pause on this real quick. Hater, Kenobi ending predictions. I do want to bring up. So with every series, a Magic Maker and I, we do weekly predictions on what's going to happen in the episode. Well, there's going to be a Kenobi trailer at some point. It may be a week from now, maybe 3 weeks from now, but we're expecting it sometime, perhaps, if it follows kind of the pattern, April. It could show up in March or April. I tend to lean towards April, but if we're going to do trailer predictions, we need to do them sooner than later, because if the trailer slips past us, then we'll miss the opportunity. So we're going to start working on Kenobi trailer predictions, what would show up in the trailer, just because that's a fun game that we do.
Obi-Wan.
Abby, I thought Santa was about to drop the trailer date. And Jason says his guess is March 10th. Right. And at this point, I think it's just guesses. If Kenobi doesn't come out until May 25th and you back up off of that, I'm not sure that March 10th makes sense. I think March 10th came about when we thought Kenobi was going to happen earlier.
On the 4th.
Isn't it like a 45 days?
Happened on the 4th. I bet Bad Batch falls on the 10th.
There you go. I'm with you, Magic Maker, because I think it's like a 45 days is in my head.
I think it's 45 days, typically.
So if we back, if we take March 10th plus 45 days, that's early May, not late enough. So I think Kenobi trailer is not going to come until April, but that's just my opinion. I've got nothing to back that up, so I can't say. So Young Yoda says March 24th could be.
Yeah, that would be about right.
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know. No, I think it's going to be mid-April.
9-Nub has to appear in Andor, or Star Wars is ruined forever. Oh, I love that. I love that.
Flying another freighter.
Maybe 60 days before it drops. At dawn, April Fool's Day could mess with everybody. That'd be great. That'd be great. I wouldn't put it past somebody to put something out, because we always get these fan-made trailers, and then people try to track it back, and they hide, and it's hard to figure out.
Yeah, that Knights of Ren one got us. Man, that was good.
Yes. Yeah.
That was so good.
So there was, people jumped into that. Andor, we're getting 12 episodes this year. It's going to be fantastic. Loads of Rebels tie-in. We've been encouraging people. We've been doing some of it ourselves, doing some Rebels rewatch. I think people have talked about Kenobi and Andor crossover. There's going to be a ton of Rebels tie-in. So when you talk about
Kenobi, you'll see a lot of that. You'll see Syndulla's name come up.
Yeah, you talk about continuity. Rebels is going to be something that's going to help inform your viewing of Andor and Kenobi and Ahsoka. So what are you doing with your lives? Go watch it, Rebels. You should watch it.
It's possible that it's not though. Isn't Andor set 10 years prior? Same time as Kenobi?
No, I don't think they overlap. I don't think they're the same time.
Okay, so that happened at the same time frame? I mean, because
Rogue
One was right before. Rebel starts at about 5 years prior and works its way up to the up to the Battle of Yavin, and then we have so I don't know, somewhere between that the 5 year. I mean, I guess it could overlap in that. I don't know, but so it depends. Is it during the middle of Rebels or is it before Rebels?
I think it overlaps Rebels.
Yeah, and Kenobi's about 10 years, right?
Yeah, Kenobi's 10 years. 10 years after the
Uh-oh. Well, guys, I think it's just me, and I don't.
Something happened. A second. We blipped. We blipped. Let me see if I can get you back. Something's going on. We blipped. We were gone. Are you back?
Are we back?
Are we back? So I think we're back. It looks like we're back. So
we got snapped.
We did get snapped. Thanos was right there. He got us. But fortunately, it wasn't a 5-year gap. So I think we were talking about 5 years. So 10 years after the end of the Clone Wars is when Kenobi happens.
Okay.
And then 5 years.
So that's around the same time as Solo.
Yes. I think 5 years. There's a 5
Solo's about 10 years prior. Or
yeah.
10 years after.
Is that right?
Wars. Yeah, I mean, it's 19 years between Into Clone Wars and A New Hope, right?
Andor and Rebels season 1 overlap, right? So
okay.
that's it. So the Melon Gremlins joined the elves in a solidarity protest. They give me a hard time about the elves again. So Kenobi is 1 year after Solo.
Benevolent dictator himself.
Solo takes place 8 years. So there you go. I was thinking something didn't seem. So there we go. We've got folks setting that straight. Very good. So anyway, Rebels, huge tie-in to all of it, and we talked too much about Vladimir, and so the Russian bots came to get us. The Russian bots took us out. They're attacking
bots in Star Wars. Goes all the way back to the Last Jedi, right?
Yeah, they're attacking the North Pole.
Those bad guys.
Right, I know. So the Dark Times, this story here, I'm going to go ahead and let it play. It's very short. You see, it's 2 minutes long. So we're going to let it play in the background. I'll let you kind of narrate, give us some background, tell us a little bit about it.
All right.
Go.
So the person who does the speaking does a pretty good job, as you can tell from the captions. It's Maul speaking. He does a pretty good Maul impression, and he's effectively talking to Ahsoka about what has come, and at least that's how I take it. You can take it as he's talking to you. He's breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah. Now does use cinematic capture and some mocap. They actually did some mocap work.
They do that a lot, actually, to get their stuff down right, so they can create the. I'm trying to think not the skeleton, but the frame for each side, the framework inside there for each one of those. I can't think what they call it when they do that. Somebody can maybe help me out with that.
Here we get an Inquisitor.
Yeah, that was Trilla right there, like Trilla.
And there's Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm. So that's where I get the impression that he's talking to Ahsoka. Yeah, you were deceived, betrayed, purged.
Very dark times indeed. The Empire is taking over. And I love how this is Earth back here. That cracks me.
That's Alderaan right there. Right there before the last moments of Alderaan.
It's really good.
Yep.
And then there you get the credits. Really, really well done. I just want to bring out. And so, as we say with these, you guys, please go out, support the channel. We use these fan films to kind of highlight people that are spending a great deal of their resources, their time, their investment to just love Star Wars, create some fantastic Star Wars content, and really with the technology a lot of these folks have, they're creating some very high quality content, right?
Yes,
It
I wish
looks
I could produce
so
that
good.
kind of fan fiction. It sometimes it's kind of intimidating because you know that you've got a good story, but you can't make it look that good, and it's just like, oh man.
It's so amazing. It's so amazing. And so you guys, please go out there, at least give that video a watch, kind of watch through, and then if you would like the video, consider subscribing. That's all up to you guys, of course. But we highlight these fan films just because we love Star Wars, and it may not be your flavor. Fan films may not be your thing. Fan fiction may not be your thing, but it's other people who love Star Wars. And we just want to support these content creators and let folks know that we appreciate what they're doing for the fandom. It really shows.
And encourage them to keep doing it.
Yes, it exactly, and it shows that the franchise is very alive when people are willing to spend so much to write the stories and to create these things. So that is absolutely fantastic. And we appreciate that. We have a Mike Porter dad joke, and I saw, if you guys aren't aware, Mike Porter's dad passed away a couple days ago.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
They are preparing a celebration of life service for Mike's dad, and Mike has had some dad-related dad jokes this week. Much love to you, Mike. Much love to what you do for this fandom, for this community, and who you are as a person. Just a wonderful, wonderful human being. We love Mike Porter here, and you guys. Mike Porter's Twitter account is linked in the description as well. Let him know as they're getting ready to celebrate his father's life that we love you. So we have a Mike Porter dad joke that we will focus on today, and he did a Star Wars related dad joke for us for our live stream today, and so the dad joke is, what is this Star Wars planet's favorite breakfast? Oh, bacon, egg, and cheese on a Coruscant.
No.
Oh, Mike Porter. Oh, Mike Porter. Yeah, Coruscant. Very funny.
Yes.
Very funny.
Bacon, egg, and cheese Coruscant.
Yes, exactly. So, you guys, thank you for being here today. Thank you for your support. What's going on in the world is a terrible, terrible thing. We talked about it at the very top of the show. And for those of you who live over in Europe, we know we have some folks here that are in Ireland, Scotland, Scandinavia. We've got some folks who live in the general area. Our prayers and our thoughts and prayers are with you guys as you're so close to the action. I've actually got a relative who was just deployed into the region this week, and so we know that they're trying to protect some of the surrounding countries with NATO.
Got friends in Poland right now.
Yep, that's where our family was sent, to Poland. So yep, we got family members in Poland as we speak. So you guys, our thoughts and prayers are with you guys. We pray that this whole deal with Russia and the Ukraine comes to an end without too much more loss of life. But it's terrible.
And not only that, not just pray, but be prepared to open your hearts. And maybe you can find some of these. There's charities out there that'll help the children and the displaced families from the war. So just don't be, it's one thing to send prayers. It's another thing to send help, and don't expect governments to do it. Nothing matches the power of the force of others, right? And that's when the force be with you, the force of others be with you, right? So,
and one thing that we have focused on, a Magic Maker and I, since the inception of this collaboration with us, is that folks can have different opinions on things. A Magic Maker and I have very different opinions about like the sequels and those kind of things. My friend Jason Ward has very different political beliefs than I do, religious beliefs. Our good friend Mark, very different religious beliefs. Star Wars Meg, very, very different in her political beliefs and mine. We share the same religion, but we are very different people from different countries, different regions. You know what? A Magic Maker lives in Alabama, and I still put up with him.
That says it all.
That does. It really does. we got somebody who is a graduate of the Ohio State University and somebody who lives in Alabama.
And graduated from the University of Alabama. So,
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
We've got an Alabama graduate and an Ohio State graduate, and we're friends. Star Wars can.
Who thought that was possible?
It's not possible. It's none of this is real. None of this is real. So anyway, you guys,
this is fan fiction.
It's good to see you, Trucker Mark. Thanks for stopping in. So you guys, thank you so much for being here, and until next time, my friends. Merry Christmas. A Magic Maker, this is when you say,
"Oh, may the force be with you," and subscribe. Like, I thought you were supposed to do that before you.
You were, but there we go. And Dominic, he's a Michigan fan, so we put up with him too. So you guys take care, and we will see you soon. Now, Melon's all messed up. I got to go log into YouTube, but we'll see you guys later. No outro today.
All right.